Very pleased to welcome Dr. Nasser Saidi, Chairman of the Clean Energy Business Council for the 30th Annual Conference here at Terra Expo City, Dubai. Thank you very much, Doctor, for being with us. Straight to the point. In terms of partnerships, basically developing the public-private and even people partnerships in line with the discussions today, what is next in this regard here for the region?
I think what's critical for the partnerships is to say that the clean energy sector, by which I mean it's not just renewable energy, it's clean technology, it's climate technology and all the rest, should be open to public-private partnerships and cooperation. You need that.
Yeah.
It's the only way you can address the underlying challenges and issues.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Effectively, it means, number one, being able to, for me, look at what are the climate challenges facing the countries of our region. How do you monitor that? And then how do you cooperate to address that? And that has to be part of a national plan that includes government, public sector, as well as the private sector.
Yeah.
This is what's critical.
We're seeing here in the UAE very bullish targets from the government, basic at the federal level, even at the local level within the different emirates. However, some of within the private sector are reluctant, not reluctant, but rather have other priorities. How can we entice the private sectors, small and big, basically, to join forces and to strengthen and to intensify their efforts?
The private sector needs clarity, and the reason is that the types of investments we're talking about are at least 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So they need to have a framework for that.
Yeah.
In some cases, what it means is that you have to create the space. So, for example, in electricity, water, transport, and all the rest, a lot of those are public utilities.
Yes.
Okay. So you need to create the space for the private sector, to come in. Look at, say, for example, electric vehicles.
Yes.
Okay. You need to have the underlying charging infrastructure.
Yeah.
That can be provided by the private sector. You don't need public sector to do that. So many examples. Look at electricity, electricity generation. You got solar power, but you can also have factories and businesses also have creating solar power and then selling it onto the grid.
Yeah.
So that needs regulation and the law to allow that. That's what we mean by creating space for the private sector.
Yeah. In terms of investments, and let's talk money here, at COP28, right here, basically, they announced the 1 trillion dirham pledge. According to our sources at the UAE Banks Federation, more than 60% of that big money has already been deployed.
Yes.
All right. And now we are talking about the blue economy as well.
Yes.
So with the different pairs, what is next in this regard for investors, for investment, for funds as well?
What's happening is that we need to think of the wider issue of the digital economy.
Yes.
Okay, the digital economy encompasses not only renewable energy, but everything else which is digital, including things like data centers, which is everybody's talking about right now, and AI. AI and data centers are highly energy intensive. So what we need to think of, and this is where the additional money will get deployed, is they have to become green data centers. So, for example, using solar power to power the data centers, the grids, and all the rest. So I think if you think about the massive investments that are going to take place, they're going to take place in the digital economy, including broadband, including wide spectrum, including the data centers and using AI in the data centers. But also I think we need to be forward-looking. What I mean by that, eventually the data and the data centers have got to be used by users and sent around the world. If you look at the current data centers, most of them are very close to high population areas. So for example, in the United States, most of them are in Virginia because it's a high concentration. But for us, we don't necessarily have this high concentration of population. So eventually you're going to have to use space, right?
Definitely.
In order to transmit the data. And that means investing in space, into satellites and transmission systems. So if you think of the possibilities, they're extremely wide, going all the way from the digital economy to space, to climate tech, to things like district cooling, to all sorts of activities that will help decarbonize the economy.
Yeah. My last question is about tech transfer. Basically, previously, we used to have from the west towards the region. Now it's vice versa, and actually more leaning towards us exporting know-how, knowledge, and all that. How do you see the phenomena in this regard? How can we basically take the pendulum more towards us?
I think the comment I would make is that the technology was never transferred to us. We became consumers of the technology, but we never owned the technology.
Yes.
And now I think we have a fantastic opportunity, particularly in renewable energy and solar and the like, to not only own the technology, but also to export it. And if I look at who is a strategic partner from that point of view, I look at China being a strategic partner because they're way advanced in terms of clean energy, solar, and the like. And they're willing to share the technology, and you can own the technology and then export it. And I think we're already seeing that. You look at Mazda, or you look at some of our companies, Aqua Power, etc. They're investing in solar power and clean tech around the world, including into Africa and the
Central
Middle East.
Asia.
And Central Asia and the Middle East.
Doctor-
That is the future.
Dr. Nasser, thank you very much for being with us today, as usual. Thank you.